Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben. I got a cask strength rye in the bar. Let's get into it. All right, so today I've got, bam, this is a sample from my friends Troy and Laura over at Baker Drinks. Go check out their channel. This is Woodinville cask strength 100% rye whiskey. It's a 6-barrel batch, 116.88 proof. So they actually sent this a while ago and just haven't gotten around to reviewing it yet. And so I figured, why not do it right now? So this is one of those reviews that I'm just completely going into with reckless abandon, absolutely no information. I've never had a Woodinville product. I do see them on the shelves. We have them here in Minnesota. But I don't know anything about the distillery. I'm really just not familiar with it. And so I'm excited to try this because it's a new brand for me. And anytime you get to try a new brand in a sample, that's always kind of the best because, you know, you never know if you're going to like it or not, and it's nice to be able to try before you buy. So 100% rye at cask strength. It's on the lower side of cask strength, it's 116.88 proof. The nose is actually really pretty nice. It's rye forward, but it's also kind of grain forward. I wonder what the age statement on this is. I mean, it's probably non-age stated on the bottle, but I wonder what the age is. A little bit of, I feel like there's almost a little bit of mint trying to come through, which is not a note that I get very often. This is interesting because it smells like rye in the sense of like the rye grain, like a rye bread, you know, but I'm not getting any of those other rye notes like the kind of citrus rind or the, you know, like your cloves, your black licorice, anything like that. Let's see if they show up on the palate. Cheers. Wow, that drink's above its 116.88 proof in a good way. I'm here for it. It's got, that's really, really interesting actually. I'm fairly impressed by this. I picked it up like I'm gonna get any more information off of this. I already read all the information. 6-barrel batches, so that's kind of cool. That rye grain note really shows up on the palate as well. I kind of find lately, I'm really, really loving high proof ryes. And what I love about them is sometimes you get almost like that, when I say the rye grain or like the rye bread, like picture like a buttery rye muffin or something like that. Like hot rye bread with melted butter on it. You just get really like that good rye note, but you also kind of get like that buttery and like a little bit of sweetness along with it. And I'm actually getting that on this quite a bit. I really came into this not knowing what to expect because sometimes smaller distilleries, you never know if they're putting stuff out, you know, at a lower age before it's really ready. So this could be one where the proof is helping it. And I have seen absolutely no information on this bottle if other people like it or not. I can't remember if I've seen Troy and Laura do a review on it. I feel like at this point I've seen pretty much all of their videos, so if they have, maybe I'm just not remembering. Let's go in for another sip, see what happens. Cheers. So that's coming across really nice for me on the second sip even. There's some kind of like, almost like a dark tobacco-y note that I'm picking up on a little bit. I'm a little bit surprised that at the 100% rye mash bill, sometimes that gets to be a bit much with certain ryes, at least for me. And this one I think is really nicely balanced. There's just something about this, I don't know, it feels like it's got a nice viscosity to it, it's got a nice mouthfeel to it. Like I said, when I came into this review, I didn't know what to expect, and to be perfectly honest, when I'm trying something from a smaller distillery or a craft distillery, I don't know if Woodinville is considered craft distillery, but you know, they're a smaller distillery. I tend to set the bar a little bit low, and I think if I had even set the bar a little bit higher, I would still be impressed by this. It's definitely not, I'm not just liking it because I set that bar a little bit low. I genuinely think this is a good whiskey. Sometimes on craft ryes, maybe in particular, one of the ways that for me they go a little bit south is sometimes there's almost like this weird, like almost kind of like chlorine sort of just odd note to it. I'm not really getting that on this. If I'm getting anything that's slightly off about it, it's maybe in that direction, but it's very, very, very muted and low. So it's not affecting really the overall experience of this because it's, there is something there that I'm recognizing as kind of comes across as a craft rye whiskey. But yeah, again, it's so low and it's balanced out so nicely with everything else that it's really not a problem on this one. Let's have another sip before we get out of here. So sort of the more traditional flavor profile that I would associate with a 100% rye mash bill is coming through a little bit more the more I drink it. But it's really nicely balanced. The proof on this thing at 116.88, it still is on the third sip drinking higher than that in a good way. But yeah, the more I get into this, more I'm noticing like a little bit of a tobacco note. It's not terribly sweet. Sometimes with the rye, I'll pick up like a metallic sort of vanilla. I find with the really high rye bourbons, like rye mash bill bourbons, and then high rye whiskeys, sometimes you get like that sweetness, but it's not like a caramel sweetness like you get out of a bourbon. It's more of like a vanilla sweetness. This one has that a little bit, but it's very, very buried underneath this kind of like the rye grain note like I talked about before, starting to pick up on like a little bit of an earthy tobacco note. The proof on it brings a spice that I think mixes well with the barrel spice on this. Again, I don't know what the age is on this, but yeah, overall, I'd say this is a nicely rounded rye whiskey. It's a little different from some of the bigger distilleries in a good way. I'm not always the biggest fan of craft whiskey. And again, I'm not saying that this is considered craft whiskey, but I'm saying it leans kind of in that direction, but in a way that I wish more craft whiskeys kind of went. And some of that may be the age, some of it may be the proof. I don't know. Again, I don't know a ton about this, but what I do know is that I like this one. So I don't know what the price is on this, but this is definitely giving me a little more of a reason to maybe explore this brand. Again, we do have them in Minnesota. I do see them on the shelves. I've just never purchased one because I don't really know much about it. I think they're pot stilled. Sometimes that's a little bit of a deterrent for me, but after having this one, I'm a little more confident in exploring this brand, and I think I'll probably pick up a bottle of something. So let me know in the comments, as always, if you've had this one, what you think about it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Ben. This has been Woodinville Cask Strength 100% Rye Whiskey on the Bourbon Note. We'll see you on the next one.